a conference, and basically at the beginning it was a Class 1 misdemeanor. Basically, we took it down to a Class 3 misdemeanor, which is a $250 fine. The other amendment basically says that basically the sexual predator cannot be kept out of the emergency shelters, and really did a lot of damage to the bill as we dealt with it. Now, it was a close vote when we were here on the Senate floor, but I would ask that we reject all of the governor's amendments. And that being said, I ask that we do that because really what we have right now, you as a citizen of the Commonwealth of Virginia have a right to know if there's a sexual predator living within 1 mile of your home. But what we're doing here is basically saying that even law enforcement doesn't have a right to know, because they can't use the sexual registry list, if anybody is in an emergency shelter sleeping next to your son or daughter. So this bill was worked out in conference. It came out of the Senate and the House, and I would ask that with the recommendation that be rejected, I ask that we accept the amendments.
Thank you, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden rise.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to speak in favor of the governor's amendments.
Senator has the floor.
The issue you have here, what the governor did is you still have to report it to the people at the shelter that you're on the registry. We removed the Class 3 misdemeanor because that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on an individual who may be there with family, with young children. Yes, they're on the registry. But they're nervous, they're scared, maybe their house is being flooded out, and now they're being asked to report that, and without reporting, they have committed a Class 3 misdemeanor. A lot of folks on the registry, a whole lot of folks on the registry are on probation. By not reporting it and trying to get your family in there and staying with your minor children and supporting your family might put you in a situation where you violated probation and you're going to have a prison sentence put down on you because you didn't make that report. And here's the thing, is that what the original bill did that I had some issues with is that it doesn't require any pre-planning. It just says you show up and they can keep you out until they figure out what's safe. Well, here you got people trying to run a shelter, trying to deal with all the confusion and the chaos that's going on, and you have no plan for dealing with these folks. And what the governor's amendment does is require you to have a procedure put in place ahead of time so you know how to deal with these situations. So you have somebody showing up with their family, a minor child, you forget to report that you're on the registry, you've committed a Class 3 misdemeanor, and folks on the registry don't know the rules. They're not even allowed to go on the internet to find out what the rules are. I've had bills in the past that have been defeated to try to make it mandatory that the Department of Corrections and the state police give people information about what the rules are. So this is a situation, it's unconscionable to turn people away in this circumstance. The bill still requires that they report. It just takes off the penalty, and it requires them to have a procedure in place to make sure that when these occurrences take place in life-threatening situations, that people are not turned away and the shelters are prepared for these folks. So I'd ask you to support the governor's amendments.
Thank you, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson rise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Speak to the amendment.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, you know, this is one of these bills and one of these situations that often plays out a little bit differently in real life than the